Gentlemen, let's go to Big 12 country to talk about number 11 BYU at Iowa State. The Clones, 2.5-point favorites, 2:30 p.m. game on Fox. Now, when we were discussing this game, the line, and we were talking about this on the live show, Trey, on Saturday night, we kind of figured that coming off of a bye at home, a big emotional result for BYU in the Holy War, we figured that Iowa State would probably be favored. And sure enough, they are 2.5-point favorites at home. My question to you is why? What do you think Iowa State is leaning on and Vegas is leaning on to give the Clones that edge?
Well, first of all, it's not a big favorite, right? It's still 2.5, I think, as we're recording. That's just the standard Big 12 line at this point, right? That you kind of give to the home team if all things else are equal. But if you're picking Iowa State, you're betting on a much improved run defense, kind of stifling what BYU likes to do, a crowd feeding off of that at night, right? I think this is a night game. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
2:30.
okay, well, maybe the sun will set a little earlier up north, and then it'll get night by the fourth quarter. So, or a rain delay like A&M Arkansas last week. But this is a situation where you're betting on an improved run defense, kind of stifling what BYU wants to do, and the crowd feeding off that, and things just kind of spiraling for BYU. What I'm concerned about, though, and why I'm picking BYU to cover this spread and maybe even win outright, is I don't think BYU is going to be faltered by that. They're 9-1 in road games since the beginning of the 2024 season. This is a spot that they've been in time and time again. They did stumble last year at Arizona State. That was a big raucous environment that they were right there, and it was a game right down to the wire, had a chance to win in that one as well. But they're kind of built for this. We talked about it on the live show Saturday night, Mitch. They're kind of built for situations like this where you got to rely on the intangibles. You got to rely on the want to. You got to rely on your culture. And BYU has that in spades. They are going to get the extra yards. They're going to win the run battle come hell or high water, win those inches, as our former coach at A&M liked to say. They're just really, really good at that. And they have a culture to back that up. It's not just coach speak coming from Kalani Sitake. It's a culture that he's instilled year over year. And I think that's going to carry them to a big road spot on Saturday afternoon and keep them right in the middle of this Big 12 title race for another week.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of BYU in this one. I think what we saw out of them against Utah should prove that they are a good enough team to compete in this conference, but also a good enough team to find ways to win when it's not exactly their style, right? Like they just find ways to win games. I was kind of looking at some of this, like most of the games that they played, every game in conference for them has been decided by 4 points or less, except for the Arizona game that went to overtime. So like technically the game ended tied. So, obviously someone's got to win by, 3 or 6 in that one. So, yeah, I'm just kind of looking at this and saying they play close games, but they win close games, right? They find a way to control it. They find a way to dominate on the defensive side when they need to. LJ Martin is the best back in the Big 12. He's averaging 6.1 per carry, leads the conference in carries. So he's doing it at a highly effective clip, and he's doing it a lot. So I look at him and I say, yeah, put this game on his back, especially going on the road, having to, take a run game with you is a lot better than having to take a pass game with you. Iowa State's been a little up and down stopping the run this year. They got worked by Cincinnati. So if you're looking for maybe a little bit of encouragement, you can say, hey, LJ Martin might be looking at a really good day in that one. And the weird thing for me is Iowa State started out the year with such a clutch gene, right? It seemed like they just had it. But they're reeling after a couple losses. They needed that bye week in a bad way. I think right now they're a little bit cold, maybe not quite ready to go, maybe a sleepy start coming out of the bye. Meanwhile, BYU, hot, confident, feeling great. I think the Cougars keep it rolling in a really tough spot. I'm going to have them win 27-22.
Mitch, I want to jump in here just really quickly because I can hear the Iowa State fans already trying to make this point. This is the same situation they were in last year, though. They started 6-0, lost 2 in a row, 1 out to make it to the Big 12 championship game, I should say. Same situation this year, 5-0, lost a couple games. Maybe you shouldn't have. Everything's still right in front of them. Now I'll let you continue.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to take Iowa State minus the points here because of that. Their last 3-game losing streak, to your point, 2022, they have had a couple of times where they've lost multiple games in a row, but nobody Nobody beats Matt Campbell 3 times in a row. They're off a bye week, which historically I know has not been a strength for Matty C and the boys. But given the fact that BYU is coming off such an emotional high in a massive statement win over Utah, they're undefeated right now. This just feels like a classic landmine situation, right? If there was take away the logos, the teams, the graphic on the side of the helmet, I think I'm taking the home team 9 times out of 10 here. And I am nervous about that because, Garrett, to your point, the last time that we saw Iowa State playing a ranked opponent, they were getting gashed on the ground by Cincinnati. There was just nothing that they could do to stop that backfield attack from the Bearcats. So could this plan all go horribly wrong? Absolutely. It kind of should, given the fact that LJ Martin is one of the best backs in the country and what BYU does physically in the trenches. But given this specific spot in the calendar, they're fresh, they're refocused. BYU maybe feeling themselves a little bit. Maybe they just get refocused. I don't know. The Cougars are one of the most, physical, hopefully mentally tough teams as well under Kalani Sitake. I'm just going to lean the home team here. I think they're favored by a reason. Can't really tell you what it is, but that line stinks to me, so I'm going to lean into it, and I'll take the Clones while you guys ride with BYU.